Many in the West may be quick to dismiss Africa as an unstable, famine-saturated and poor continent, and whilst the majority of news coverage and reporting would suggest that this is the case, there is a wide range in levels of prosperity in Africa. So in this video, I will be comparing what life is like for those in the richest country in Africa and for those in the poorest country in Africa to truly demonstrate the variety of this continent. The Seychelles is an archipelago nation located on the east side of Africa, and with a population of 98,000 people, it's certainly one of Africa's smaller nations. But with a strong tourist and energy economy, it's Africa's richest nation with a GDP per capita of $17,000. Its economy is so strong it is considered high income or developed. On the other end of the spectrum is Burundi, not only Africa's poorest nation but the entire world's. Located south of Rwanda, it is geographically a fairly small nation at 28,000 square kilometers and has a population of nearly 12 million. With a GDP per capita of $265, it is comfortably the poorest nation on earth by nominal GDP per capita. The largest industry in the nation being subsistence farming, comprising up to 90% of employment. But how does life compare in these drastically different nations? Today, we shall find out. Firstly, with finance. In the Seychelles, a worker on average earns $1,500 per month, and unemployment is 3%. Unemployment in Burundi is staggeringly low at 0.8%. However, the average worker earns just $600 per month. Here, it's important to note that whilst the average salary is $300, this is the average formal salary, and with 90% of people working in subsistence farming, many will earn an informal salary far lower than this. Whilst not much debt statistics were available for Burundi, people in the Seychelles have an average of $11,000 of debt. While salaries in Burundi may be low, a typical monthly budget is $300 for a single person, without rent, making it a country with a very low cost of living. In the Seychelles, the monthly cost of living for a single person is $824 without rent, making it almost 3 times as expensive. Once again, housing in the Seychelles is much more expensive. It would cost $1,000 per month to rent a 1-bedroom apartment in the city centre. However, prices outside of the centre drop to $725. Houses in the Seychelles are among some of the most expensive in the world, depending on the location to buy. To rent a 1-bed in the city in the centre of Burundi, it would cost just $242 per month, and outside the city, prices were just $105 per month, which in my opinion is insanely low. Next, on to quality of life, where a Seychelles citizen can enjoy a HDI of 0.796, making it 67th of 198 countries. Conversely, Burundi has a low HDI of only 0.433, making it 185th out of 189. Arguably one of the greatest resources of any nation is what we'll be comparing next. The Seychelles has a literacy rate of 96%. Enrollment in secondary school was 92%, and for further education, the Seychelles has 2 universities. Burundi is also lagging behind the Seychelles in education, with a literacy rate of 68% and with 28% of students enrolling in secondary school. The nation of 13 million also only has 10 universities. Next, how do the people of Burundi and Seychelles directly compare? An average man in Burundi is 5'8" and has a BMI of 20.4. An average woman is 5'1" and has a BMI of 21. An average man in the Seychelles is 5'9" and has a BMI of 26. The average woman is 5'5" and has a BMI of 28. This makes the Seychelles slightly taller and have a significantly higher BMI. Seychelles citizens can also enjoy free access to healthcare. In Burundi, 80% of people have access to healthcare within 5 kilometers, making access to healthcare also more difficult. So it wouldn't be surprising that Burundi's life expectancy is just 62, whilst the Seychelles is a fairly high 74, however, a few years lower than many developed European nations. Many would argue that family is one of the most important things for a person, So in the next topic we shall compare family life. Burundi has an incredibly low median age of 17 years old, due to the country's 5 births per woman birth rate that amazingly has fallen from more than 7 in the 1980s. I think this section is also important to note that Burundi also has some of the worst child labour rates in the world. Now on to the Seychelles, where the median age is literally twice as old at 34, again portraying the wide variety, as does the 2.3 birth rate, which is comparatively as low as many Western developed countries in the world, and twice as low as Burundi's. On that note, we end today's video of yet another reason why we shouldn't listen to the tendencies of the media to view the continent as completely homogenized in economic status, and however, instead view Africa as a continent with a vast span of opportunities in its future, as it, in places, is developing at a far greater rate than the West is today.